Hi, this is Suzette again from Anewyoricanthing Kitchen. Today we're going to be making Puerto Rican spaghetti. You heard me right, Puerto Rican spaghetti. Now, legend has it that my grandmother, they grew up in Harlem, and they were around a lot of Italians. And her children came home one day and wanted to have spaghetti. Of course, she had no idea what they were talking about. So she made her own spin on spaghetti. So this is her version. So I go with thin pork chops. Now you can make this with chicken. It tastes just as good. I personally like it with pork chops. So that's why we're going to do the pork chop version. So I have about 3 pork chops here. Get the thin ones. We don't want thick ones. These actually are a little thicker than I normally like them. I normally get even thinner ones than this. So if you see the thin ones, pick them up. You're also going to need 2 tablespoons of sofrito. You're going to need a tablespoon of some adobo and a teaspoon of sazon. You're going to need tomato sauce. I use a blended olive oil, spaghetti. Okay, so in the meantime, guys, while you're cutting up your pork chops, start boiling your spaghetti, your water for your spaghetti. And this is a great meal because literally you can do this in 30 minutes. So like you come home from work, you're tired, you don't know what to make. This is a great alternative. So what you want to do is you want to cut your pork chops. Okay, just cut them in, you know, no science to it. You're just going to cut it in chunks. If you want to take off the fat, you can. Okay, so we're just going to cut it in little chunky pieces. And this definitely will feed a family of 4. Cut around the bone, and we're not going to get rid of the bone. We're going to use that bone in our seasoning and our mixture. So you see, you can cut it smaller if you'd like, or you can leave it chunky. Of course, rinse your pork chops. And I'm just cutting, that's a little fatty, so we won't use that. And I'm gonna leave, the bone is in here, okay? I'm gonna leave that nice big part. Like I said, you can trim that fat on the side if you'd like. So just continue cutting your pork chop around the bone. So once all your pork chops are chopped up, you're going to take your adobo and you're going to add some olive oil, or you can add vegetable oil, whatever oil you'd like to season your pork chops, you can. And you're just going to mix it in with your adobo, okay? Just mix it around, make like a nice little seasoning pack there. And you see how it's a little thick. And I'm just going to put that in with the pork chops, take some of that stuff out there, and just mix it all together. Make sure the pork chops are coated with the flavor. Now in the meantime, guys, because this is definitely a 30-minute meal, I have the water already on so that my spaghetti water could start boiling. So you're just gonna make sure you season that up. Now if you wanna season this in the morning before you go to work, so that way it can have much more seasoning in there, you can do that. Now in a medium-high heat, you're going to take a frying pan and you're just going to put a drop of some oil, because the pork chops have the oil in there with the seasoning. So you don't need a lot of oil. You don't want this to be in a lot of oil. So just spread your oil around, get the pan coated nicely. You don't need much, maybe a teaspoon of oil, and that's it. And what you're going to do is, let's wait for it to get a little hot. And then what you're going to do is you're going to put your pork chops in there and you're going to brown them. So you're going to put your pork chops in there on a medium-high heat. That's going to start sizzling. We have our water boiling for spaghetti. So we're just going to wait for this to warm up. Okay, so my pork chops are doing really good. I'm going to flip over the pieces, get it nice and brown on each side. If you even want it a little bit more brown, you certainly can let it fry a little bit more. Sometimes I like my pieces a little crunchy, you know, like a chuleta, really nicely fried up. So now in the meantime, I have some water boiling for my spaghetti. Now I like to use thin spaghetti. I'm using number 9, so that's a thin spaghetti. Now the next thing you're about to see, do not judge me, but this is how Abuela made it. She cut the spaghetti in half. I know, it's a sin, but that's how she used to do it. So I'm going to do it the same way. Now if you do not want to cut your spaghetti in half, by all means, do not cut it in half. I understand. I'm not going to add salt to the water because our pork chops were seasoned with adobo. We are also going to use tomato sauce, and we're also going to use sazon. So all of those things do have salt. So I'm not going to add any salt to my water, just the oil to make sure the pasta does not stick. So while my pork chops are still cooking, my water for my spaghetti is boiling. Now I'm a family of 4, so I'm going to make enough spaghetti to make for the 4 of us to eat. So yes, I'm cutting it in half. I said don't judge me. This is how well I did it. What did she know? She was back in the day. She was trying to make spaghetti for the kids. Gonna let that boil. Pork chops are still cooking. See how fast this is, guys? It's a great quick meal when you're coming home from work or just want to make something really quick for dinner. And we are ready to go to the next step. The next step is going to be that we're going to remove this. So get yourself a bowl and we're going to reduce the heat. So I was on a medium-high heat. We're going to go down to just like a medium heat. And what you want to do is you want to take your pork chops, put them to the side, okay? Same frying pan. We're going to add our 2 tablespoons of sofrito. We're going to add a half a can of tomato sauce, so that's about 8 ounces. Okay? And we're going to add our sazon. And we're going to cook the sofrito. Okay, that's what you want to do. You want to cook it down. Now, I use 8 ounces. Of course, you can add more tomato sauce if you find that your pasta is a little dry. And this is not your typical spaghetti sauce. It's going to be more of a dry version. It's not going to be very saucy at all. So you just want to let your sofrito cook, let that bubble. Once it starts bubbling, you can cook that for about 2 to 3 minutes. In the meantime, my spaghetti is boiling. So you're going to make your spaghetti soft. Shouldn't be al dente. It should be soft. So however long that takes. So your sofrito is cooking. Okay, now my spaghetti is boiling and it's ready. So I'm going to go ahead and drain it. Okay, that sofrito looks good. It's cooked. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to add your pork chops back to this mixture. Make sure you get all the goodness because there is some juice there. Okay. Then, all you're going to do is add your spaghetti. So you want to put your spaghetti in there. And you're going to mix it all together. Now at this point I want you to lower your heat a little bit because it's a little high. Put it to low and make sure that everything is mixed in. So mix your spaghetti and your pork chops and all that. If you feel that you need more tomato sauce, now would be the time. But like I said, it's not supposed to be a very saucy thing. So it's going to be wet, but it's not like sauce like, you know, your regular spaghetti. Okay, so just mix that all in really good. And just let it cook a few minutes. Make sure everything's nice and hot. That's it, guys. About 30 minutes, you have yourself a great meal. Okay, guys, well, this is Abuela's Puerto Rican spaghetti. You want to step it up a notch? You know what? Let's add some little Parmesan cheese on top with some nice crusty Italian bread, and you have yourself a really quick, amazing meal. Thank you for watching. Hope to see you soon.